stand and pledge allegiance to the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I ask Greg if he'll do an invocation this evening.
If you would, pray with me. Most gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for the day. Give us so many blessings of it. Lord, may we never, ever come to a realization that this comes by chance. Again, as we come through the weekend, we understand the culmination of the Easter holiday and what that means to us. And again, the solid foundation that it provides to us while we are here on earth. And we've gathered here tonight, Lord, to be able to take up the city's business. And we just ask that special blessing on us, that we would again do that with the due diligence that you provided to us and the seriousness that it deserves. And again, we be compassionate and humble in all of our decisions. We ask, again, a special blessing for the folks that are shut in or again are enduring any kind of illness. So we just ask, as the great physician, that you would heal those folks if it be your will, and look after them, and providing that, again, our citizenry would take care of one another. We ask all these things in your name. Amen.
I'd like to welcome, well, there's not that many, but whoever's here, we welcome you anyway to our meeting. You all have the agenda there before you. If you'll take a moment, look at the agenda, tell me if there's anything you wish to delete or add to the agenda before we start the call. If not, a motion to approve the agenda would be in order.
Michelle, you need to ask.
Yeah.
Do you have something?
I have to add for the May meeting about the CMC student recognition.
Okay, you sent that by email.
I just sent it to you two.
Yeah, we'll see if it gets on the
You want to put
agenda.
on May or you put on now?
It'll be for the first meeting in May.
Gotcha.
It'll be in
So
May,
it's just
because
announcing
The
it.
child will be here, right? Well, tell everybody what you're talking about.
Okay. So last year we did this as a first time, but 6:30 on our first meeting in May, we are going to recognize one student from each homeroom at Crittenden Mount Zion Elementary. So it's kind of like being a star student. And this is with the FRC Council, working with the teachers, and just something special. The kids get to come up here, see where we're at, and get recognized real quick before the meeting. And then the meeting will be at 7 like normal.
6:30 on.
6:30 on May 9th, I believe it is.
May 9th.
Yeah,
Yes.
May 9th.
Okay. All right, anything else? I don't really think we need to add that to our
Okay.
agenda system. Okay. Nothing else? Motion to approve? Motion approved. Second, those in favor? Thank you. All right, yeah, the minutes again before you. You'll take a look at those minutes. Again, I know you've had an opportunity to read through them already, so as soon as you're ready to move on those, if there are no additions, directions, or deletions, corrections, let me know that. And the motion is stated in order to approve them.
Meeting minutes look good as always. I move to approve.
Thank you, Joe. Second by Greg. Everybody agree? Okay. Unanimously approved. Thank you. Our treasurer's report, again, now would be the time if you have questions on the treasurer's report, to be directed to our treasurer. And listing of the checks there as well. Seems like we write one of those things every day. You have a question, Joe?
One question on the general fund appropriations page. Accounting services, I believe we talked about a year ago about possibly getting a new accounting firm to do audits this year. I just noticed we've got
Zero funds still.
gap to open spaces. And
Yeah, we need to get I need to get that finished up this year. They've been a little busy with the tax season, of course, with our clients, but I have not gone out to I have not researched or gone for a different auditor as of yet.
Okay, so we're going
There's not many players in that industry, to be honest with you, government.
So we're going to keep the same auditor?
Not necessarily. I'm going to leave that decision mostly to, Sean works with them. I'm going to try to leave that decision mostly to Sean. If he feels comfortable with it, fine. If he doesn't, then we'll look for someone else. So
I think this time of the year, we're probably gonna have to stick with it, to be honest with you. But they've been great. It's been more on my plate this last fall than the spring. Just not ready to come back.
But you're satisfied that that's great?
I'm satisfied, yeah.
I was looking at the years.
There's no concerns in their quality of work.
Okay. Any other questions on the treasurer's report? Hearing none, we'll need a motion to approve that then. Motion by Michelle, second by Bobby. Those in favor, raise the right hand. Thank you. Motion carries. Next is the law enforcement report. Again, that's been provided to you in writing. So if you'd like to take a look at the law enforcement report, I can't answer any questions on it. But there it is for y'all to look at. I can tell you that I see a lot more officers in Crittenden than I ever have. I'll tell you that.
Just a comment, yeah, I do.
Yeah, I do
Same.
too. I see a lot more of the sheriff's deputies. I see the state police down there, it seems like all the time. But I've seen a lot more of the sheriff's deputies as well. So the more the merrier, as far as I'm concerned.
I do know that on some of the community pages, we've been getting some reports of people going by and stealing packages and things like that a little bit more. You know, warmer weather makes those kind of thefts go up.
And I think we've had some sign thefts
Okay.
as
Yes.
well. How many we had? 4?
Several. There was 6 signs in total.
Well, I know about 4, so 6 now.
Yeah, the new signs, by the way, ones that just put out.
People need to understand that when they steal those signs, they're stealing money right out of everybody's pocket because they're going to be replaced.
And we don't make them in-house, so it takes time to replace them.
Exactly. So it's tax money that's going into that. They could be doing something more useful, like, paving a road or something.
And
So-
also that adds to like ambulances trying to find the right road. It
Absolutely.
can cause massive delays.
It's
You know,
not,
and to that point, by the way, these aren't not being cut off, they're being removed by Allen wrench. So somebody somewhere has to have a ring camera, and to see this, hear this, something, there's too many within the last 2 weeks.
I'd really like to see
Honestly.
somebody caught for doing this.
Are they spread out or?
Pardon?
Are they spread out or?
Shady has a list, I'm not sure the full list.
Yes, the ones I heard, the 4 that I heard are not just all in the same spot. So,
The one I
yeah.
heard was 10 Mile, I heard that on Monday.
Yeah.
10 Mile.
It's not unique to us either.
It's not.
No,
If you saw the article in the paper, there's thousands of dollars.
I know.
Yeah.
I just,
But it is a shame that we keep throwing away money on things like that.
I just did a unit inspection at my apartments last week and walked into this guy's living room and there's 10 different signs just sitting in his living room.
Street signs?
Mhm.
Any
I
from
mean,
us?
it's northern, it's
Any
up
black
by
and white
APU,
Yeah.
but it's
Well,
like,
honestly,
Cold
I-
Spring Police.
I'd love to see somebody caught and turned in for doing
Yeah.
this, because it's stupid to just keep throwing this money away. And if we don't replace them, then we start getting complaints from the delivery services, that people aren't getting their packages delivered, and so it's not like we can just ignore it. And that's enough of the complaint about that part. All right, the fire department report, we have that as well. Looks like this. Look at that. We do have the chief here, if anybody has questions on anything on that. And while you're looking at it, he has appended to it the ambulance district treasurer's report. And we'll just peruse both of them.
I heard that there was a pedestrian hit up in,
Yes, ma'am.
was that a fatality?
Yes, ma'am.
That's sad to hear.
Other questions? Comments?
It looks like the responses are going back up. When we talked last month about why we had an anomaly, we're still not getting back up, so.
Again, there's no specific pattern, sir. 1 month, the god of EMS is very good to us, and the fire god has some fun with us. The next month, they get in collaboration and decide to make us work a little bit more, and then they give us a break. You just never know. The rainstorms and such last month, though, did come into play.
Okay, moving from that then to the item number 4, city council appointment. Ms. Morris is with us this evening, this young lady who's seated over here to my left on the front row. As you all know, Jennifer resigned her position on city council, so we're required within 60 days to make a new appointment, or it passes to the governor to do so. So I've prepared a municipal order, should you choose to use it, appointing Ms. Morris to serve in Jennifer's place on the city council. So if someone would care to make that motion, I'll pass this around.
I'll make the motion.
All right, motion by Michelle, is there a second to that? Second by Leo. Is there discussion on the motion? All right, I'll pass this order around if you want to. That's a municipal order, since it is the council's right and duty to appoint a new member. Ms. Morris, if you'll come up to the clerks, stand right here, he's gonna swear you in, and then you can have a seat over here next to Michelle. You need to take an oath swearing, because you haven't shot anybody recently.
Any voting on that?
Oh, yes, we need to vote. Those in favor of the motion, raise your right hand. Thank you. Motion carries.
Sorry, taking this as well.
That's all right, let me record that.
Thank you, yeah.
Let's take my spot here.
I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of this Commonwealth, and be faithful and true to the Commonwealth of Kentucky so long as I continue a citizen thereof, and that I will faithfully execute, to the best of my ability, as councilperson of the City of Crittenden, County of Grant, Commonwealth of Kentucky, according to the law. I do further solemnly swear that since the adoption of this and the President of the Constitution, I, being a citizen of the state, have not fought a duel with deadly weapons within the state, nor out of it, nor have I sent or accepted a challenge to fight a duel with deadly weapons, nor have I acted as second in carrying a challenge, nor aided or assisted any person thus offending. So help me God. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. If you will come over here and have a seat.
We're working with you.
Next,
So that's
I'm sorry.
circulated, the signatures are.
It is, it's over here, it's coming right back to you. Next, we have appointments to the Ethics Board. We'll take Mr., in a second here. This is the paperwork. Mr. Ratchford, is it Ratchford or Ratchford? Ratchford. Mr. Ratchford's here in person. His name is Stephen Ratchford. He is one of the persons who I want to recommend be appointed to the board. If anyone has questions for Mr. Ratchford, anything they wish to ask, or he has a statement he wishes to make prior to the recommendation, hearing none, is there a recommendation concerning Mr. Stephen Ratchford to serve on the Board of Ethics? It would be for a 2-year term. We're going to go through about 5 of these.
You need a motion?
Need a motion. Motion by Bobby. Second by Leo. Those in favor, raise your right hand. Thank you. All right. Next is, let's see, here is Stephen Kellum. Mr. Kellum has submitted to you previously a brief bio. I think everybody might have a copy of it. It was passed
Right,
around.
yes.
If anyone has questions about it, I have another copy here, which you'd be welcome to look at. I'll not offer his name as appointment for a period of 3 years. Motion would be in order. Motion by Michelle, second by Greg. Those in favor, again, raise the right hand. Thank you. Next is Mr. William Fry. He says he prefers to be called Jason. He's also submitted a brief bio here. For anyone who knows him, I have not met the gentleman. I understand that his wife works at the CMZ, so your wife probably knew her.
It went under Jason too.
Okay. Again, that would be for a 3-year term, so a motion would be in order to appoint Mr. William Fry. Motion by Greg, second by Bobby. Those in favor can raise the right hand. Thank you. That motion carries. Next, for a 3-year term, Mr. Dennis Mann. Mr. Mann submitted again, a brief bio, which is with your packet, setting out basically his CV. Motion would again be in order for Mr. William Fry to serve on the Board of Ethics for a period of 3 years. Questions?
Dennis Mann?
Yes.
Dennis Mann, yes.
I'll make a motion.
All right, motion by Bobby. Is there a second? Second by Leo. Again, any discussion? Those in favor, raise the right hand. Thank you. That motion carries.
I don't know him, but I know where he lives and
Mr. Brian Canis, and I hope I'm saying that correctly, it's Koenes. Is that correct? Okay. Again, and this would be the final, well, it'd be the final regular appointment. There's one more as a successor appointment, I'll explain that to you in a moment, but Mr. Canis would serve for a period of a 2-year term as well. The name is Brian Canis. Is there a motion for Mr. Canis?
I'll make the motion.
All right, but I didn't hear who did that. All right.
I'll second.
Leo, second by Bobby. Those in favor, again, raise your right hand. And finally, I have an alternate appointment, a first alternate appointment, Dr. Tatiana Bradley. She's the lady, pardon my voice, who came here to our last meeting specifically to volunteer to do this. I explained to her that I had already spoken to the other 5 candidates, that they had agreed to accept the appointment. One of the candidates was Steve Kellum, a gentleman I've known for how many years. Anyway, he's the pastor of our church. He said he would be glad to speak with her concerning it because those other 5 had already agreed. He did speak to her. She agreed that she would be happy to accept appointment as the first alternate, so she would step up in the event that there was a person who could not continue to serve for whatever reason. So I'm asking for appointment of Dr. Tatiana Bradley as an alternate to the Ethics Board. Motion by Michelle, second by Greg. Those in favor, again, raise your right hand, and that motion carries. Thank you. That completes the board. Next, the road projects are out for bid. Oakwood Drive, again, is out for bids. That's, of course, a road and drainage, not septic, not sanitary, storm sewer drainage.
Have we got a new slate of contractors for the Oakwood?
I was going to ask the same thing. Where do we stand on that? We were waiting on somebody to get approved.
He did not get, if he got approved, he did not get in touch with me, and I've made multiple attempts to contact him and been unsuccessful in doing so.
Well, that leads to Joe's question.
I do have one other gentleman who's expressed an interest. I think he may have already submitted the bid. I don't know. We got one blind bid in. We don't know who he came from. It was just a young man walked in and gave it to Sean.
Yeah, and it's a sealed bid, so I can't.
I don't know who
We'll see
it
on May
is,
9th.
to be honest with you. And that's the only one we have so far, but of course, the bid opening is not for another month.
And this one person is approved by district.
I don't know that yet either. What I'm hoping to do is if he's not approved, see what the amount, see what his bid is, and if it's cheap enough to just go with it anyway.
Yeah.
Absent that,
Do the math.
you know, we'll just figure out which one's the cheapest way to go. But I have explained, I've spoken to him personally, I've explained to him the pre-certification portions of it. He doesn't, honestly, I don't think he's a teacher, he knows.
If we did that on our own, we're forfeiting the grant, though, are we not?
The $120,000, which honestly is not a grant anyway, based upon my conversations with Howard District 6. That is money that we're getting through the 3% that's withheld from our.
Emergency fund.
But it is not committed funds, it's not set aside money. It's, if it's there, we can get it, if it isn't, we won't, but if there's more, we can get more. That's how it's explained to me. And I think you heard the same thing.
Yeah, I was a little, yeah.
It's not segregated money that's sitting there in the bank where we can just go write a check for 120. It's the 3% retainage.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's been changed. That's a change.
Pardon?
That's a change.
Yeah.
2.5 years ago.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But anyway, we'll see. We're going to try to get that, Joe,
Yeah,
if we can.
in my conversations a couple of years ago, that was
Yeah.
a lump sum.
When I spoke to District 6, that's the information that I got. And I also got that you're not limited to that amount of money. You might get more. So, but we'll see when we get the bids in. I mean, that may be an academic discussion. We might not get it, or we might not be able to do it again. So we'll see. We also have the Bingham, Claiborne, Turner, and Ridgeway bid packets out. They'll come in for the 11th. Is that right? What is it?
We received May 3rd, but read in front of council May 9th.
May 9th.
It'll be unsealed and opened May 9th. That is the city portion of Claiborne, by the way.
And also the sidewalk bid is out with the bids to be received again, same May 3rd and open on the 9th.
Yes.
Okay.
All 3 of them.
So everything is out. We're just waiting for people to start to respond, and hopefully they'll respond.
Is Logan bidding those on our behalf?
Pardon?
Is Logan bidding those on our behalf?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so he's the document control guy. Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
And I spoke to him concerning them all today. He and I made visits around looking at some of the road projects that have been done today. We'll bring you up on that here in just a little bit too. Well, we may as well do that right now, just so you'll know. Bobby was with us today. Bobby, won't you explain to people what you saw about the paving projects so far? Eagle Ridge and Eagle Creek and.
From in the beginning of November last year, when they did the first project, or they did both projects, we noticed some areas where I'll call it spalding, or the rock was coming back up. It wasn't sealed very well. We met with, what's his name, Phil, with Eaton.
Phil was there.
He agreed to go in and seal it to get it through the winter. And then they would come back in the spring, which they have in the past couple days, mill those areas out of our concern, and then redo them. Even after them milling them out and redoing them, there was some spots that I didn't think were acceptable. We met with them today. They agreed once again to repair those spots again. It happened to be just really one main spot, and it sits right in front of my house. And they agreed to. It was not good work.
They did agree.
They agreed that it was not good work, and it's already fixed.
Oh, they've been back?
Oh yeah, they fixed this right when we got done with it.
News to me. How's it look?
It looks okay to me.
Good. All right.
So
Well, the one they did out on Eagle Drive, you live out there.
There's a one, the patch in front of my house, in my
Yeah.
driveway.
Yeah.
When you're coming up the hill, the first spot, there's a big about 4-inch crack between the old pavement and the new pavement that needs to be filled.
We'll have to,
we'll take a look at it.
yeah. That's it. What's your address?
234.
Okay. All right, we'll have to take a look at that. We were out there today. The cul-de-sac out there looks great, if you've been
Yep.
down that way. Looks really
Yeah,
good.
Eagle Creek's cul-de-sac looks wonderful.
Yes.
Timberwoods, that's rough.
Not so wonderful, but,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, that's a quick update on the paving project so far. Let's see, I have one other thing that I've added, Sean, I didn't get this to you in time to get on here, but we have a request from Valley Ridge Church of Christ to use the property down here at Harvester, the acreage we own there in front of it, as a community outreach. They want to use it on June the 3rd. I don't know what day that is. That is a Saturday, apparently. They say they're going to have snacks, hot dogs. They're going to invite people to their VBS. They're anticipating maybe 20 vehicles, something like that, to be there. My concern is, of course, if it's wet, I don't want them to be in there tearing it up, and we'll discuss that. I'll discuss that with the pastor there, or whoever it is that I'll need to contact that with, if you all decide that you want to participate. Now, they also said that they wanted to have a bouncy house. Sean checked with our insurance company. They don't cover that. They said, no, that's an exclusion from their policy, so that's going to be out. We can't do those. But as far as the other things go, as far as just coming there, having a hot dog cookout and that sort of thing, I'm going to open the floor for your discussion. If anybody has anything, give me a yes or a no. How do you all feel about it?
This is a total come-as-you-are package. I mean, they clean everything up when they're finished, and they set everything up, and there's nothing left.
Right. We don't
We
have
go to vote
anything in
later on.
writing on the use of that area so far. We have nothing. But I would anticipate that just meeting with them, telling them we'd like it to look like it did when they came in, when they leave.
Yeah.
And, you know, that Bobby Newman is a member of that church. He's also going to be kind of shepherding this. He said they were going to take caution tape and just rope off an area and say, this is where you stay. So the kids don't go down toward the lake or any of that sort of thing. And they'll have people there from the church to assist in enforcement of this, to keep kids kind of corralled, but, you know, let them have a good time, but not let them go wandering around, drown themselves, you know, that sort of thing.
And on the surface, I don't have an issue with it, but again, I think that we need to have a process in place until, again, we finish our project or have it opened up to the public for what we intend it to be used for. Because again, I could see multiple folks saying, oh, it's open for rent, or it's part of the city business, and we're going to go, and we need to have a process in place with maybe some parameters that list some of that out, as opposed to again, take them as one-offs, and then things may change as far as shooting fireworks off and drinking beer, and who knows what else that goes, maybe going on, carrying on, and you get out of control. And we just need to have some parameters on what we want to
I'll see
define
what
it
we
as.
can find through maybe looking at some of the cities' websites, that sort of thing, see, maybe some of the other cities have something we can plagiarize, frankly, and use their thoughts. Well, okay, I like his word better.
Well, I mean, that's just my thoughts, so.
I'm a lawyer, who plagiarizes.
I think this is a good test of why we want to park.
Yeah,
You know, I think it's an opportunity for us to learn as well, things we hadn't thought of.
that's true.
To your point, though, I think we need a parking plan,
Yes.
and perhaps it's a shuttle from their church. They've got a bus,
Right.
bring people in as opposed to try to park on what might be soft soil down.
I'll tell you, we are going to try to get a curb cut in there, and we are going to try to get some rock.
Ahead of
For
that, or
Yes,
just- okay.
we're going to try to, you know. and
Because that's what I was thinking, how they're gonna access as far as,
JD has met with the gentleman down there once or twice, I can't remember.
State?
Yes.
Twice. Met once, talked to him, yeah.
Okay, and pointed out where we want it to be, and they've indicated that that's an acceptable location. What's he doing now? Or something else he's supposed to do to get something done?
The state's
yeah.
requiring the design
That's right.
to show what our long-term.
I told him to get in touch with Logan and get something put together that satisfy them. I talked to Logan. Logan says they've done lots of these, so he'll get something to them that'll give us a permit so that we can go ahead and start that process. But once we get the permit, it shouldn't be that big a deal to scatter some rocks, I hope.
This is form they can fill out and submit with the
Yeah,
design.
the permit request form that he said they could do. We got it, I sent it to him, but he said they already had it.
This is on a Saturday, right?
It is a Saturday. It's a kickoff, they said, for their VBS.
I was thinking of business interruption or business impact, but I don't think it'd be that great. There could be parking if we could get it at the old St. E building, if they will allow that.
I'd rather have them park on the ground than have them cross the road, have kids cross the road, and
Good point.
we'd be, you know.
Yeah, that's kind of learning experience, yeah.
Or if shuttling, you know, that might be.
And again, you know, if the ground's even a little soft and it causes some ruts, I mean, until we actually have a plan and start working building our stuff, I mean, it's, other than mowing on it a little bit, and JD may hate it, but again, if there's goodwill and there's, as we get across this, there's learning that we pick up off of this. And again, my bigger part is that, again, I would just hope that we would look at a process to be able to evaluate things that may come on. This may be the only one, but I think that we need to, again, if we're going to allow it to happen, then we need to have a process in place so we can address it if it does come up again, so we stay consistent across the board and try to make it available, but again, make sure that, again, everything is spelled out ahead of time, so there's no gotchas later.
I hope we don't have to address the drinking issue with the church, but that is an issue that should be addressed.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about, again, 4th of July, and the next
I got
group
you.
want to get together saying,
I got
hey, we
you.
got a big field here, and they're opening it up for everybody, so
Right.
we left our fireworks back at the other guys across off the lake to the harvester thing on the other one.
I tell you what, we'll try to put some kind of thing together, we'll see if we can find something, bring it back for the May 9th meeting. And then they won't need it until after that, what date I tell you, June the
3rd.
3rd, so we can have something by that time and maybe make a final decision then. But what I'm hearing is people are not opposed to it at this point, right? Okay. All right, that's pretty much the only idea I wanted to get from you to make sure that we move forward with it if we could. Next, we had a request from Mandy and Jamal, their last name escapes me.
Kinley.
Kinley. They wanted to use this room as to put on a first-time home buyers credit repair class. I sent that out to everybody. I got 3 responses. I got a, well, maybe, okay. I got an okay, a well, maybe, and no, I don't think so. So, you know, with that divergence of opinion, I wanted to open it up for discussion and see where everybody is first. You know, you all control this room. So, you know, tell me what you think. I want the community to feel they can use these facilities, but at the same time, I want it, Joe and I discussed a little bit about commercial uses, and I think that was Leo's concern. You know, it doesn't need to be something that's funded by the taxpayer that's being used for a purpose that is a private purpose. private for income type purpose. I understand that, but just, give me your thoughts in general on that one. Yes, no, or in between, and if it's in between, what should we do to?
Well, my initial thought is the same as the lot over there, is that we didn't have a process in place if we're gonna open it up, where again, we have these things kind of spelled out and identified. I'm not opposed to having folks come in, and again, I think it's a great, my son's looking to buy a house. And again, those type of things that we get started for the community, and again, if it's tied to the Crittenden citizenry, that again is gonna be here to be able to go through that, I think that that's a good opportunity. But again, if it's a realtor that again is coming back in and again is gonna use it for personal gain, then there's some gray area there for me. But again, I think that we need to really think that out and spell it out so that again, this doesn't come up for whatever future purposes down the road. So again, the process is more important to me right now than again, open it up for one way or the other. That again, we stay consistent with how we're gonna present it out to the community who's gonna use it.
Okay.
I agree with everything Greg said, and I would add that no fees charged.
Yeah, if it's a pro bono and it's good for the citizenry, that again, that's what the intent is, and they're donating their time to be able to do this, and they're not, soliciting and that type of thing, then I think it's a great service. And again, those would be, but again, we just need to really be thinking about putting some parameters around a process that identifies those up front, and Sean can say, here's our process, and if you fit within that, we'd love to be able to set something up where it helps the citizens of Crittenden in whatever field or whatever area that we're looking at.
Did they happen to mention what time of day they wanted to do it?
They did not. I can invite Jamal or Mandy or both to come to the next meeting if y'all would like to.
Well, the thought is, building security, that kind of thing.
Sure.
Opening and closing.
Well, that's
They did
another
it.
reason though that we had the door put in there, because, again, to keep them out of that is there, but that leaves this
Right.
still
But
exposed.
if they did that during business hours.
Right.
This room's vacant most of the time.
Exactly.
So that,
But we do have equipment in here that,
What is in all this filing cabinets and how secure are they?
Good luck.
the filing cabinets themselves are,
Can you carry it out?
you see the
Maybe.
microphones that whatever that is.
Well, it's a speaker and this, it's just, the radio information, the TVs, you can carry that out pretty quickly.
So I'd love to see us, it's the whole reason we put in the door, to eventually be able to have, senior citizen meeting here, or, to really open this facility up to be a benefit for the citizens. And, but we do have to have policies and procedures in place and all of that, so definitely agree with that. But I'd love to see education, job fairs, a lot of those kind of things. It would be great to have that, because I don't know how many people drive by and they don't even know this building exists. So unless they owe a past due tax bill and they're like, where do I go? And they drive right past us 3 times and then finally find us. So I'd love the PR part of it, the marketing part of it. I would love
And
Uh,
that's
that
the
for our
process
city.
that I'm thinking about. Again, if you have one and we do get the PR and it advertises, and again, it comes off as a big hit, and it just sparks something else. And if we don't have a process in place that identifies that up front, then again, it sets us up to every meeting we're having the same conversation. So that's the bigger part for me, is kind of putting some parameters in play. And again, we can just, here's what the rules and regulations are using the facility.
I see it even like what we're doing with CMZ students, getting them in here, getting them used to it, getting the families used to where this is at. So I love it.
If I could, when we installed the door and with that expense, we did that for the reason is to use the room for that, allow bathroom access, women's and men's, also kitchen access. But at that point in time, the idea was, at least from council standpoint, was to have a council person be the sponsor of this group. Basically be here with the key, unlock the door, also lock it up when they're done, and be responsible for that access point. That was kind of the process. Nothing beyond that, it wasn't very detailed, but certain council members at that point in time, signed out keys. So that could be the process, they want to be a sponsor of that.
Well, and again, even if we agree to do it, then that comes with responsibility that during, we rotate through or something, somebody's here with whatever activity that happens, to be able to assure that, again, folks are in and folks are out, everything's secure during the event, and then if that's the way we want to go. But again, I just want to make sure we have that understood, have a policy in place and how we're gonna treat each one of these, so like I said, if they don't continue to come up in a regular business meeting, we've got a plan in place, so.
We'll get a lot of birthday requests and shower requests, I guarantee
Yeah,
you, because the welfare house at the park is usually booked pretty packed every year, so we'll get a lot of requests like that, so we need to make sure the details of these meetings are established.
Okay, so I'm hearing basically the same thing. Everybody wants to take a look at maybe a way of doing it, and, but nobody's adamantly opposed or that sort of thing, right? Okay.
Do you want to invite them to the next meeting?
Do y'all want to hear from them directly? I'll invite them to the next meeting if you want me to invite those two. No?
I don't have a need to have me in, I think it's more on us, that again, we work on our end to ensure that we have a policy in place.
Got it. Okay, those are the only two things I've added. Next, under old business, the Harvester Lake. We've had, 2 or 3 of us that have looked at what we got received from KLC, and to be frank, it wasn't all that good. As a matter of fact, it was pretty bad. But I have spoken to Logan again about putting together something that has some actual specifications to it. At least as to the broad parameters that we want, the fishing area, stage area, the walking area, and the parking area, at least in that. I saw him down there shooting grades, so I know he's working on getting something done. As soon as we get that in, I think everybody, we'll get 2 or 3 people to take a look at it. We can then attach to it our request for proposals, get it out as quickly as we can, and at least get something started on this. I've had one group contact me, well, it was Ken Stone, I'll tell you who it was, and he's with Kiwanis, I think. I've written it down in there, but anyway, they want to participate monetarily or in some way in getting something done with the park. So Jamie contacted me. She said they have a little extra money. They'd like to do something to participate. I'd like to kind of get this in the works and get something moving on it while there's some folks that are interested and have some cash for us as well. So as soon as we get something back from Logan, I'll get with 2 or 3 of you and we'll get that request for proposals out as promptly as we can, see if we can get something started down there right away. Okay, that's all I have on the agenda. Now, has any of this caused somebody to, I'm sorry, I do have one more thing. This resolution came in, it's adopting and approving the municipal aid co-op program again for another year. This is the thing that we do every year. It's nothing new. It's the 3% that they keep from us and that they will hopefully fund us with for our projects if we need them. It's emergency money. We do have to, the city council has to do a resolution each year saying that they wish to participate. So I need a motion to approve the resolution adopting and approving the execution. Any more TIONs in here? The municipal aid co-op program contract between the city of Crittenden and the Commonwealth Kentucky Transportation Cabinet. So there is a motion. There's a motion by Michelle, second by Bobby. Discussion on the motion? Hearing none. Those approved, raise the right hand. Those disapprove, thank you. I'll pass this around. All ayes, you just sign under the ayes.
Is this
Okay,
good?
so just
Thank you.
put it around.
Then I'll sign it and I'll send it.
Okay. And then, that's all. Now, is there anything I've said or anything come up to mind that anybody wishes to add before I ask for a motion to adjourn and set the next meeting date? No? Then I need a motion to adjourn. Y'all want to stay here for so long you don't
I'll
want
make
to
it.
adjourn?
I was right.
All right, motion by Bobby, second by Michelle. Those in favor, raise your right hand. Thank you. We're adjourned until May the,
No, the
It's April
25th.
25th, if you want to hold the
Let's
second.
do it.
I'm sorry,
Tuesday.
do you want to do it, you want to do the April meeting as well, the second meeting?
What do we have, Russell?
We'll need 2 meetings in May because the whole package stuff.
So we'll be working on the roads then, but
Yeah, we'll have some.
do we need the April,
discussion.
the second meeting in April?
I don't personally.
I don't see it unless you all do.
So I said, there's
Make
something I don't
it
see.
May the 9th. Is that the correct date?
Yes.
All right. And is that your motion? That is the motion. Those in favor, again, raise your right hand. Good, we're done. send that around to Sean.
Appropriate funds